Okay, here we are, day 3, and decided to go ahead and shove off. I spent a few days here. It was pretty nice. I loved it's a Steinhatchee marina. It's a brand new marina they just put up. Everything was beautiful, of course, because it's new, but still enjoyed my time while I was here. Checked the weather this morning. Everything looked pretty good. Should be okay to take off with winds of now, according to the weather, we're supposed to have, as you can see, it's pretty nice out there. Clear skies. Winds are only going to be, if I read them right, I think the winds were only going to be like 5 to 7 or 5 to 8 mile per hour winds, which is really nothing. Seas of 1 foot, which is, again, with my boat, can easily handle a 1 foot wave or less. So it shouldn't be too bad of a deal. We'll find out once I get into the open water here, but here we are getting ready to take off and start our cruise. And hopefully 4 hours from now we'll be in Cedar Key, which I plan to stay there overnight, and then either tie up at a dock or drop anchor somewhere, depends on the situation. And then from there, head into Tarpon Springs the following day. After we get into Tarpon Springs, my next shot is going to be right to my home port of Apollo Beach, which is inside Tampa Bay. And I'll be done. Trip will be over with, and kind of sad to see it go by, but it's been a long trip, but I enjoyed every part of it. And here's my turnaround to kind of see everything that I saw while I was here for the past 3 days. There's the marina, beautiful building, brand new. A lot of things to do here. Pretty good sized boats are coming in and out, I noticed. So for people doing the Great Loop and considering coming into Steinhatchee, it's pretty much deep water as long as you stay in the channel and come into this marina. Obviously, this is the first marina you run into as you're coming in. It's still going to be quite a ways to get out into the open water because of the channel here. So as you can see, the channel markers here, as long as you stay in there, you're pretty much safe, even for the big boats. So for those big boats that don't want to go all the way across into Tarpon Springs to do an all day and all night travel trip, you could consider coming into Steinhatchee and then staying overnight and leaving the next day, or even stay a couple of days and enjoy the trip. It's a beautiful marina. And here we are going out the channel, and we should be heading, right now we're heading west, and it's going to be a while before we get out to open water out in the Gulf. Because you are out in the Gulf in open water, you know, it's important that you try and make sure the weather, try to make sure that the weather's going to be good and no storms heading your way, because you are in open water. Although, because of my draft of 18-inch draft that I pull, I don't have to go out very far in open water to get to deep water. I can stay in 4 foot, 5 foot water and not have to worry about running aground. The bigger boats will probably have to go out a little bit further out. I would say they would probably have to go out about, give or take, about 10 miles out into the Gulf so they can hit open or deep water the whole time and not worry about grounding the boat. For me, I'm easily cruising at 4 feet of water without any sweat, which after checking my GPS and checking my chart plotter, it looks like I can go out maybe 3 to 4 miles and then just follow the coast all along to Cedar Key. Once I get to Cedar Key, it's not a long drive. It's not like an all-day drive from here to Cedar Key. As a matter of fact, I don't even have to fuel. I did fuel when I left here, and I should be able to go all the way to Tarpon Springs without having to fuel. But I'm going to go ahead and make it at least to Cedar Key, and either drop anchor or stay on at a dock, depending on what I find there. But it should be a pretty good trip, not very long. That's why this is going to be a pretty short video here. It's taking me longer just to get out into the open water because I'm not cruising at full speed, but the channel markers here, and there's the wake zones here. I guess they must have some manatees areas in here, because I see a lot of the no wake zones all the way around through the channel here. You can see one right there on the starboard side. That's a no wake zone sign. That little island that you see on way out on the port side of the boat, that's about how far I got to go out. Just before I get to that, I can start turning south and start heading south to Cedar Key. And as you can see, it's quite a ways. So I'm still in the channel, and I'm still just taking it easy. Cedar Key is almost basically out in the Gulf. It's a small little peninsula that kind of sticks out into the Gulf. There are, barrier islands, just like these barrier islands here. As you can see, those islands that are out there, those are, they call them spoil islands. And what they do is, when they come out and they dredge these channels here, they take the dirt and the sand that they've picked up when they're dredging the channel here, and they go dump it somewhere. Well, eventually it starts dumping, and they dump in the same area, and eventually it starts to create an island. So all those islands that you see quite a bit of them out there. Most of those are all spoil islands that were created from the dredging. And of course, every time they come and dredge again, they just pour more sand over there. So some of these get pretty big. Once the grass, the vegetation, and trees start growing on them, that pretty much keeps them from falling apart whenever you have a big storm or something. But eventually, they do. If a hard storm comes in, or a hurricane goes by, it does a pretty good number on them, but they normally do recover. We'll be going here. As soon as I get out of this channel, we'll start heading south. And that's only going to put me about 4 miles, 5 miles out on the open water in the Gulf, which shouldn't be too bad at all. 1 foot seas is nothing. This boat can easily handle that. Well, we're still going to go ahead and pick up a little bit of speed here and trying to get out now that I'm on past some of those signs out there. As you can see here, we're still in the channel marker. We're still in the main channel, but we should be taking a slight turn here as soon as I pass this markers right here. And we'll be heading southwest for a little while. There's still a couple channel markers out there that we got to get to. As you can see now, here they showed up, but once we get past that and we get closer to that island there, I see there, then we'll be taking our southern heading, which I've already calculated here on. That'll shoot us into Cedar Key. Like I said, it's not going to be a long drive, a long day. It's basically a little bit under 4 hours to get to Cedar Key. Won't even have to fuel up while I get there. We'll be able to continue from Cedar Key to Tarpon Springs, where I'm planning to Tarpon Springs. I'm planning a probably a 2 to 3 day stay there. I really like that little town. I've been there before, and it's kind of nice. So I think I'm just going to do that. I did go also through when I left Cedar Key. I did stop off in Homosassa, and then from there I headed down to Tarpon Springs. I did stay in Homosassa a couple of days, but I didn't really do any recording of any kind while I was there. It's a nice little area. I think be a nice place to go back and visit someday. The Homosassa River is a very beautiful river, just like Crystal River. It's got a lot of clear water, a lot of nice restaurants, bars. They got even a pretty nice little hotel that's reasonably priced, as a matter of fact. It was right at about $82, I think, per night. So I actually stayed there one night. It was nice to sleep in a bed for a change. Here we are already heading south now. And as you can see, we got 1 foot seas, just like they said they would be. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Boats barely, making a fuss over them. We're going over them pretty good. You can see skies are still pretty clear. Winds are very nice. So the whole trip should be just the way this is right now. Comfortable, tolerable. And I've been running into anywhere between 4 and 6 foot in depth here. And I already checked it ahead of time, so on the map, the whole way should be right around 5 to 6 foot depth. Is what my average was. Every once in a while I was going to run into 4 foot, but haven't seen it happen yet. But it probably will later on. Like I said, once you get to a certain point, you just kind of keep watching your depth sounder, and it'll tell you. I have mine set for 3 feet, so anytime I hit 3 feet or shallower, my alarm will go off and let me know that I'm in shallow water. But so far I haven't had to worry about that. I normally do keep a pretty good eye of where I'm heading and where I'm at all times. That way I can make sure I stay above the depth that I should be, so I won't run aground. I've gone ahead and made it into Cedar Key. There's Cedar Key right up there. You can see that. Cedar Key is, I did go into it and I tried, now this is the south side of Cedar Key. There was a way I could have come in on the north side of Cedar Key, but I didn't want to go there. I figured if I'm staying overnight, next morning leaving, I would rather prefer to be on the south side of Cedar Key. Never been here before, so wasn't sure what I was going to find. Turned out there was some docks, public boat docks, on the east side of the Keys here. And I did stop, as a matter of fact, tied up at the boat ramp, and went in to use their facilities and all of that. But there were park rangers. I think their office was not too far from there because there was a bunch of park rangers all over the place. Here you see a lady on a paddleboard, and there's a pod of dolphins following her. Wherever she goes, these dolphins are following her, and you'll see some more dolphins pop up here shortly. But anyway, once I got to Cedar Key, I was going to try and go grab something to eat at a restaurant or something, but one of the rangers asked me what I couldn't leave my boat tied up there too long. He said I had to go ahead and get it out, bring my trailer over and take it out. But once I told him I didn't have a trailer and I was just trying to go grab something to eat, he says, no, you can't tie up there. Then you're going to have to go somewhere else. And the only other place they had was on the north side of the island. So I didn't want to go all the way back around. So I figured, okay, well, what I did is I'm out here right next to a spoil island, and I'm dropped anchor, and I'm sitting on 3 feet of water, and it's low tide, so I don't have to worry about hitting bottom tonight. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and grab something, make me something to eat here on board the boat, and then go take my sleep, and then wake up in the morning and take off and head to Tarpon Springs from here. But it was interesting just watching now. Now this girl is quite a ways back. I have it on full zoom right now, so she's a long ways from where I'm at. You might not be able to tell that, but she really is. She's quite a ways, and I can see dolphins going up and down right around that same area that she's at, and you can see some dolphins there playing. It was kind of interesting. These dolphins probably have been fed, because they normally don't stick around like they're doing around her, unless they're getting something in return. So I think they probably have been fed either by her or somebody else, and they're used to following people around. Because they were quite a ways back, I wasn't sure if they were actually going to head toward where I was. I was kind of hoping they would, so I could get a better shot of them. But the girl never really headed toward me, so she headed toward the end of the island. There was a little cove. I'm in a little cove, and in the end of that cove is a little peninsula, and that's where she headed to. And she actually went on to the beach at the spoil island here, and the dolphins didn't go anywhere. They stayed right around that area where she was, while she was sitting on the point down there in the sand. These dolphins were out playing around and having a good time in the water. They did this as long as she was out there, because after a while it started to get dark. So she went ahead and put her board back in the water and headed back to Cedar Key. And the dolphins followed her all the way back into Cedar Key too. So it was pretty interesting to watch how these pods of dolphins kind of played with her and followed her around wherever she went. And they did this for a long time. I was actually kind of surprised that they stuck around that long. They even stuck around when she was sitting on the beach. They still didn't take off on them. They were swimming around that little area where she was sitting by the beach, and it was kind of interesting to watch them. But you can tell that these they've probably been fed. If there's tour boats that come out here to watch the dolphins, I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting fed by them, so that the dolphins come around when they see the boat. That guarantees the people that when they go out on a dolphin tour, they're going to see dolphins. These dolphins know the boats that feed them, and they'll go out toward them, just so that they know they can get a meal there. But anyway, it was pretty interesting to watch this evening go by. And like I said, she wasn't that close. She was quite a ways. I had to zoom in to get here. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just have my meal for tonight, and then call it quits for today, and take off in the morning and head to Tarpon Springs. Hopefully should be able to make it into Tarpon Springs tomorrow, and I'll be taking a break while I'm sitting there. I will probably wait or sit at Tarpon Springs for 2 or 3 days, because I really like that place. I've been there before and I enjoyed it. So I think, it's got a very nice Greek atmosphere, a lot of Greek restaurants and everything. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is just go down there and enjoy the evening. Well, this is the end of this video here. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off and post this. Going to go ahead and grab something to eat and call it the night. And we should be posting another video here shortly, going into Tarpon Springs and spending a few days there. Well, I know I'm running late trying to post these videos here, but hopefully I've only got one or two more, and I would have completed the whole great loop on the vessel. Why not? 22-foot Sea Dory running on a 90 horse E-Tech outboard motor, which did pretty good, for the exception of having to replace the lower unit. But I might have caused that problem, because I did run her aground a couple of times. So one time I even hit a rock, put a little chip on the prop. So that might have been what broke the seal, and it started taking on water. But that's another thing. Talk to you later. That's it for today. See you next time. Bye.